What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the Underground Railroad. Today's episode, what we're going to focus on is some of the tension brewing around the world, more specifically, what's going on in the South China Sea. So, what the current issue is China is claiming 90 to 95% of the South China Sea region, which is in direct conflict with some of their neighbors, the Philippines, Brunei, Vietnam, Malaysia, just to name a few, because these countries also have claims to this territory. The U.S. and some Western countries, Germany, Britain, France, Australia, Japan, these nations, they don't necessarily have claims, physical claims to this territory, but they want to practice what they call freedom of navigation in international waters. A tribunal court actually upheld a decision. A request was put in by the Philippines to dispute China's claims. The court upheld it and said this was international territory. China pretty much just says, hey, you know what, screw what they said, we're going to do what we want to do. Well, this is troubling. This is troubling to the world. With $5 trillion of trade that comes through there, all of the untapped resources, there's a huge potential gain for the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. So we already understand that the nation of China is basically the world's manufacturing plant, right? They make everything. So economically, China is a juggernaut. Militarily, they are trying to be a juggernaut, and they're well on their way. So the United States and the rest of the world recognize this and see that this is a potential problem. Honestly, I think it's a little bit too late. Momentum is already moving, already flowing in one direction, and we're pretty much headed for a military confrontation. So these countries surrounding China are at the point that they're kind of tired of getting bullied around. Japan, a very close neighbor to China, understands that this is right in their backyard. It affects them. So what's actually going to draw us in even deeper to some conflict with China is Taiwan. So we have an agreement with Taiwan that we will sell them arms and we will help defend them in the event that they're invaded. So there's really no clear definition of how far the U.S. will go with that. But with Taiwan being a so-called democratic entity, the U.S. considers Taiwan an ally. China doesn't like that. So China and Taiwan have historically operated what they call one country, two systems. So what this means is they identify that China is China. Taiwan is China. Taiwan doesn't feel that way. Taiwan feels like they're a separate country that has absolutely nothing to do with China and they want to be left alone. Hey, I'm good with that. But China doesn't feel that way. So China has been ramping up their military for decades to reclaim, to bring Taiwan back under their fold. Taiwan knows this. It's been looming over their head forever. So it's happening. China is positioning themselves. They are building up their military forces. China is spending billions on military assets, training. In fact, Russia and China just held joint military exercises, which is scary for the world. Russia's got some military hardware that doesn't need to exist on this planet. They've got a missile called the Satan II. This thing can travel. This thing is a hypersonic weapon. It cannot be stopped. In fact, Putin He touts this thing as being invincible. They've got the avant-garde system. They've got the Poseidon. And they're working on a new one. Matter of fact, I was reading about it. New satellite images show Russia may be preparing to test nuclear-powered Skyfall missile. Man, Russia's on it. And you know what? You go look in the book of Revelation, and there's a lot of descriptions about the earth being consumed by fervent fire. These nations are playing with weapons, people that I'm telling you have no business of being on the face of the earth. We know what the United States is capable of, and we know how many enemies that we have, right? China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. Iran is trying to get nuclear capabilities now. North Korea is arguably have them. Do they have them? Don't they have them? They're in search of them if they don't have them. But we know Russia and China have them. And we know what China wants. And Russia is trying to use this as leverage. But what I'm afraid of is that we're going to be pulled in, sucked into this downward spiral abyss that's going to be called World War III or Armageddon. I mean, the writing's on the wall, folks. The military the U.S. Navy is sending assets over there. They are researching and developing new systems. They're sending aircraft carriers over there. They're sending stealth bombs, stealth fighters and bombers over there. They are arming bases in Guam, in Japan, in Australia. They're refurbishing a base that was decommissioned in the Philippines, turned into a shipping facility, and now they're reconverting it back to a military base. It's a hot area. China's having territorial conflicts with India. Their own ally, Russia, they even have a territorial dispute with them, with the city of Vladivostok. I mean, there's an argument that says that China, would love to infiltrate the western part of Russia because Russia is so concentrated on the eastern part, and it'd be easy. China likes to spread their influence, and they're spreading it over here in America. China owns a lot over here in America, and they pretty much run Hollywood and the stuff that we see on TV. So, I said all that to say this. There is a global conflict brewing. You don't have to take my word for it. There are United States military analysts, United States generals that are saying that this conflict is going to happen before or near 2027. There are generals going and lobbying to Congress and saying, look, we've got to increase spending. We already spend north of $650 billion a year on military defense, and they want to increase that. China and Russia, the next 5 militaries combined don't come close to that. But see, what we know is we have so many enemies, so many guns pointing at us. And right now our generals know that to fight the type of war that we know is coming, we're not ready. So this message to you is we need to get ready. If there's anything that we can do to try to steer the world from this precipice, that's what we need to do. Because if this war happens, if the war that they say is coming happens, it's going to forever change the landscape in the world as we know it. Nothing will ever be the same. If we think this plague that was released on the world changed the world, that was child's play compared to World War III if it happens. And if you ask me, I kind of wonder if the plague that was released on the world wasn't a form of biological warfare. I don't know. It's a curious question, though. A lot of things going on in the world. And what we can't afford is for the American people, us, to be blind, to be distracted, to have our focus on a million other things except what's really going on in the world. We see what just happened in Afghanistan. Our military pulled out of Afghanistan, which brings me to another question. Why did we pull out of Afghanistan like that? I mean, I know there's been plans. I know we've been slowly pulling troops out. But I also know that we're pulling troops out of Europe, repositioning them around Asia and the South China Sea. So it just makes me wonder, were them resources pulled to relocate? A lot of things to think about. You know, the current crisis that we're in with the plague, you know, it has changed the world in so many different ways. I mean, heck, you can't even go to the grocery store and see empty shelves. Shortages everywhere, you know. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and there's so much going on, and that's what this channel is about. Because I could spend days, weeks talking about every single little thing that's going on, and we've got to put it all together so that we can get a big picture of how jacked up things are in the world. This channel is about bringing people together, and more importantly, bringing people back to God. Because at the end of the day, God is the only weapon, the only way. He's all we have in this fight. There's too much evil, too many demonic forces at play that are in control of what's going on this earth today. All the madness that's going on, man, there's some deep stuff going on. Just because we can't see physically, you know, what's going on, it's a spiritual battle. It's a deep spiritual battle, and it's real. And these spirits are going to be unleashed into the world, and they're going to bring about more of this destruction and chaos. I mean, obviously, these spirits in the world are what's going to bring about this World War III. It's in the Bible. We can't avoid it. It's going to happen. It was prophesied to happen. Right? There's so many things. There is over in Europe a piece of machinery called CERN, and that's for another episode. There's just so much going on, so much to talk about. But everybody, look, I'm going to cut this short. We got to come together. There's a few things that I'm going to start explaining as a plan on how we do this, how we come together, how we unify, how we explain to our government the things that we want. Our enemies, we shouldn't be fighting amongst each other in this country. I mean, we bicker over race, we bicker over religion, we bicker over politics, we bicker over a whole bunch of different stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you, if we got word that a nuclear bomb was flying this way and was about to hit smack dab in the middle of the country, I bet you we wouldn't see color then. If we knew there were helicopters and planes flying over, dropping foreign troops down on top of us, I bet you we wouldn't see politics then. We have to come together before something like that happens. I would hate to see the day that something like that ever did. But I question a lot of the decisions that are going on today in our governments. I question a lot of stuff that's going on today. And it seems like the American people always come in dead last. Right? All I'm asking is for, when is our government going to actually listen to us and work for us? That's all we want. That's all we're asking for. And you know what? We don't need any military conflicts anywhere. I understand we don't always see eye to eye with some of these other nations, but let's find some common ground. Right? I mean, we got to bring China to the table and say, hey, look, I understand you want to be in control of your backyard. Russia, I understand you want to be in control of your backyard. We want to be in control of our backyard. Right? Let all these nations have their space, have their say. Let's coexist and let's make a better tomorrow for this world. There's too many resources and too much money for this place to be in the position it is, other than if there's greed and evil involved. There's too much that could be right for so much to be wrong. It's so easy. It should be so easy for this world to be made right. It's really simple. It's those top tier elite people at the top of that so-called pyramid that want to run things their way. If you've never heard about it, why don't you go check out the Georgia Guidestones? It actually mentions a future desired population count of the world. Really some weird stuff. You know, there's a lot of things that they would say are conspiracies. A lot of times they hide stuff in plain sight. I'm telling you, people, the truth's in plain sight. You just got to open your eyes to it. They've become accustomed. They've actually trained themselves to be able to put this in front of our face. They put a lot in front of our face, but they know we're so blinded by Instagram and Facebook and social media and going to work and paying your bills and going to the bar and hanging out in the street and all this other stuff. Everybody's so worried about life. We're not paying any attention to what's going on right underneath our noses. One day we're going to wake up to headlines and the whole world's going to be flipped upside down. You know, there's already conversations about wanting to track and trace people, wanting to be able to identify what you buy and sell and all kinds of stuff. Man, this is directly out of the Bible. I just don't want it to be too late for anybody to recognize that this stuff is real, that God Almighty is real, and that Jesus Christ is going to come back to this earth, and he's coming back with a vengeance. He's coming back angry because of all this madness that's going on. I just want to save some souls, people. I want to save some souls. You don't have to want to be saved. That's fine. That is your choice. But I just want you to think about the stuff that's going on. Turn on your TV. Turn off don't watch the NBA, don't watch the NFL, don't watch MTV, all this other stuff. And you really even got to filter the news that you listen to. I really suggest you pray before you watch it. Ask the Lord to filter through everything that you hear and see and bring the truth to you. And once you come to that truth and start seeing really what's going on, it's probably going to freak the crap out of you. But that's okay, because there's people out here like me, and there's other people, other YouTubes out there that see what's going on. Not even just on YouTube. There's a lot of people. Ask your coworkers, ask some of your friends about some of this. And there's a lot of people that see what's going on. Those are the people that we have to get together, and we got to start with them. We have to bring together everybody that is seeing what's going on. So this video, share it. This video, like it. This video, subscribe. Because this channel, I wanna grow. I wanna grow this. I wanna grow this to where we can have chapters all over this country. I want to establish community networking. I want to have community gardens. There are so many buildings around this nation that could be rehabbed and opened back up and turned into community schools, not the public schools. We could have our own schools, right? We have got to come together and create our own infrastructure, because I'm going to tell you what, every time some sort of disaster happens, we have to wait for the government response. I don't want to have to wait for the government response. I want to be able to take care of my people with resources that we have. We got to get this together. We have got to get this together. And we will. It's going to take some time. One day at a time. We're going to get this thing rolling. Fact of the matter is, we gotta stop all of the bickering and tension between all of us Americans. So I'm looking for suggestions on how we can do this. I have my plan on how we can do this, and I'm going to start unfolding this, and I'm going to start presenting it more and more and a little more and more. We're going to get deeper and deeper. And you know what? Some of the conversations that we're going to have on this channel aren't going to be the most pleasant. They're not. They can't be. There's too much evil going on in the world. There's too much bad and just ugly going on in the world for these conversations to be any kind of nice. So that's your warning. What's coming is not going to be nice. Believe that. Understand that. What is coming to the world is not going to be nice. And with that, I want to say thank you to the Lord for giving me this day, for allowing me to wake up and breathe, for bringing me into this evening. I pray that He's with me through my sleep and He allows me to wake up, because you know, every breath you take is a blessing, right? God, I just thank you for all the blessings that you have given me, and I hope that through this channel you allow me to reach out to so many people. At the end of the day, I want to bring people to you. And I know and accept the fact that I'm nothing without you. And I can't move forward in this world without you. So I ask you to guide me, help lead me forward. Show me where you want this to go. And you know, this channel is deeply rooted. It's established in you, Lord. You are the whole reason for this. I don't want to gain anything from this. I don't care about popularity or anything like that, being YouTube famous. I really could care less. I really don't want that. In fact, I feel like if I am able to bring people together under one banner in search of the truth, I really feel like I'll probably be public enemy number one, or at least one of them. And I'm fine with that. They didn't like Jesus Christ very much when He was here either. So if they were going to hate Him, probably hate me too. But that's okay. You know, because I will fight. I will fight for my Lord and Savior. And I'm not afraid to fight for Him. I'm not scared. So, with that, I'm going to say amen. And I'm out.